Okay, let's check out the performance of an RTX 4070 in Forza Horizon 6. It's still technically not out yet. I guess it's 20 minutes until midnight on launch day, and I don't know actually what time it's going to be out, but I've been testing things. So it's technically still not the standard launch, I guess I'd say. So I have tested the 5070 in the laptop, and now we're going to be testing the 4070. This one here actually can do higher watts than that, so we actually will probably get very similar performance. You can watch that video. I do talk about VRAM quite a bit in it. I don't need to do too much. I'm going to try to keep this one a little bit shorter with that long intro. So, okay, we'll come down here. Now that I'm very comfortable with how this runs on the 4070 versus the 5070, there is a gap between them, but it's not staggering. So we'll do 1600p to start. I will try some other resolutions like 1200p, maybe 1440p, that kind of stuff. It's a laptop mobile chip, so it's pretty rare these days to have a 1440p screen or a 1080p screen. They exist, but they're less common. Nowadays, you tend to get 16 by 10, so 1600p or 1200p. They're just more common. So we'll go with that. No scaling. We'll go with no scaling. Okay, go like that. And graphics, we're going to start with just high. And I know that this is going to run fine because I've already tested it on the 5070. And it ran just fine. So we can see here, pretty robust system. We have an RTX 4070. It is full watts. Right now it's lower, but we can turn it up. And we do have a 14650HX, which is more than up to the task of driving this GPU. This game does appear to be very CPU heavy, by the way. Very CPU heavy. On my AMD 350, I think I was running into some CPU bottleneck, but it might be driver overhead. NVIDIA, I think, will probably have to put out a new driver. So anyways, this is 1600p, it's a long intro, 1600p native high. And I know it's going to run just fine and be a good experience. And I think for 8GB VRAM GPUs, this is a really good way to go. We do have some more we can do though. You will find, I'll do it quickly in this video, I won't talk about it too much, but when we start to crank the settings, we will run into VRAM issues. And the 4070 does have enough power on the GPU to push enough frames where we would run into VRAM issues with high settings. Higher settings than this. Right, so that's running just fine. We'll come down here, we'll turn it up. This is an incredibly clean system. It's quite literally brand new. Now we're up to Ultra, and I do suspect we might start to run into potentially some VRAM issues once we get a little higher. On the 5070, I did find it did work on Ultra. There was a couple of times where there was quirks, but generally it did work. I did have to close like everything on the computer. I had a couple of things open, it was starting to be weird, and I closed everything and it ran fine. And that's what we have here. I just booted the system, nothing's open, and it's running fine on Ultra. And the performance is great. So now I'm going to show you what happens when you hit VRAM issues. So we'll come in here, and we'll keep it all the same, and we'll go up to extreme. This will be too much VRAM. It will require too much VRAM. I'm surprised it didn't threaten us, but there it goes. It figured it out once it started loading the textures. Whoop, see, there you go. It's just like, nope, you're not doing that. So the one thing that's nice about Forza is it does just threaten you when your VRAM's too high, rather than getting like horrible performance. So we can come down here, we can go back to Ultra and play, which was fine. We're just kind of squeaking under. These aren't necessarily always accurate, but they're kind of an approximation. So we know what that does. I will show you what DLSS does. So we'll come down here, we'll go DLSS on, and we'll go, I mean, we can even go performance. Right? If we're going to use it, I'm going to show you. Now I'm curious if this runs any better, because it was not working on Blackwell. And as you can see here, it doesn't do anything. Or if it does very little. Performance scaling at 1600p should be massive increase in performance. Massive. We're basically going from 1600p down to like 800p. I think it might be even lower than that. It might be like 700p. So it's way easier to run, even with the algorithm overhead. So let's sit right here. We're at about 90. Watch this. And I'm doing this because I want to show people there is a problem right now with DLSS. I'm sure NVIDIA will fix it. It's just that they don't care about gamers anymore. They're an AI company. It's no different, see? And people have been like, maybe it was a CPU usage issue. It wasn't. We're using 30%. So it's not a CPU issue. It's either DLSS is not working properly in this game, it's hitting a VRAM wall when you do that, because it does increase VRAM demand when you use DLSS, or it's borked somehow, like a driver is borked. And again, the game is not like it's in pre-launch right now, so maybe they will fix it. I don't know. Okay, so that's good. I mean, you're getting really good performance as long as you keep it within the VRAM. You're fine. DLSS does nothing, but apparently you don't need it because we're running fine without it. However, you don't really need it. These GPUs are powerful enough. So we'll go in here. We'll go high with ray tracing. So it's kind of like that's very unfortunate that NVIDIA doesn't, the DLSS is not working, potentially due to some driver issue, but you also don't need it. So, because the game's so well optimized and these GPUs are more than powerful enough. As long as you keep your VRAM down. This is high with RT. It's definitely slower than the 5070, but it's running very well. Watts are almost identical to the 5070 as well, like 3 or 4 watts lower, but the FPS is a little bit behind, but very close. They're both very good. 5070 and 4070 are both very good GPUs, very efficient. The primary issue is just VRAM, and when that 12 gigabyte 5070 comes out, it'll be nice. But yeah, if you have a 4070 laptop, there's no concerns with running this game in any way, shape, or form. You just be aware with VRAM, you're gonna, like, you can see the drops in that due to raw performance, but it's still running well. All right, we'll come in here. Now, let's say you're outputting to a native screen, 1440p. I did an external screen, sorry, 1440p. So you're not, you don't have a 16 by 10 laptop, you have a 16 by 9 laptop, and they exist. Probably less common, but it's a few more frames, right? Whoa, that was a big drop. Right, now you're over 60. 1600p is a fair bit more pixels to run than 1440p. So of course, it's easier to run. So with at 1440p, you can actually get native over 60 with high RT. With 1600p, you're just a little bit below. But it's basically 60 gameplay is what I'll call it. Here, we're basically at 70 gameplay. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, it's easy. Now, another thing you can do, just say you don't want RT or you do want RT, it doesn't matter. Let's just go like this. So one thing you can do is you can set it on high, keep your VRAM down, and you can actually turn some stuff up. You can't read that, but there's a level of detail that says car level of detail. You can't really read it. But you can put car level of detail up to extreme, car reflections, for example, up to extreme. So the terrain and everything around you is going to be in high, but the car is going to be extreme. So it's not going to nuke your memory because the terrain is only on high, so everything's fine. But the car I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but visually to me the car looks better, like noticeably better on extreme. So you can fiddle with the settings. And I had a couple people in the comments to my 5070 laptop video say the same thing. Like, yeah, you can't do extreme extreme preset. It just doesn't work on an 8 gigabyte GPU. But you can play with things, right? You can come in here, we're way down below, right? And you can come in here and you can say, what can I turn up without going over the VRAM? The one that's going to cause it is terrain. This is big for VRAM, very big. If you turn that up, their VRAM will skyrocket. But you can turn up some of these other things here, right? Like you can go ray trace reflections, put some of them on, right? A little bit of RT here, shadows. You're going to be moving. It's probably not going to make a big difference. Lighting, ray trace GI, turn some of that on. That's fine. Fog, like who cares about fog? Honestly, who cares about fog? Let's even turn that up. Let's go like that. Ray trace reflections quality. And there's another one, yeah. Here for GI. This is like a pretty mixed bag here. I think we'll be fine. I don't think we're going to go over VRAM. And the performance will be fine. Yeah, see? Mixed settings. And it's just enough to keep your performance over 60, at least generally. It may drop down from time to time, but it's basically 60 gameplay. And you'll get the car will look more natural. Reflections look way more natural off the car. I visually can see it. Again, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I can see it. And it's a car game. It's a racing game. Part of it's the gameplay, but you want to look at the cars, right? Look at that Lancer. Now, I owned a WRX for many years, so this is kind of blasphemy. I'm a Subaru person. I had a WRX, and then I had a manual Forester, 2015 Subaru Forester. I think that was the last manual transmission version of that, and I had it. It was fantastic, and I just got rid of it recently. So the Mitsubishi gives me both the nostalgia and traitorous despair. We'll come down here. We'll turn that up to 1200. Turn that down to 1200p because again, lots of 1200p laptops. All right, turn the. Where did you go? Turn you off. And it doesn't make a huge difference on VRAM, to be honest. With the VRAM is based on textures, not resolution. Just so you know. So you can turn down the resolution, and yeah, your performance goes up a little bit. But you can see the VRAM seems very similar. So you can't, turn it down to 1200p and then all of a sudden be like, now I can run extreme with extreme ray tracing and my VRAM won't run out. This is one of those games where it doesn't matter what resolution you're at. I've noticed this a little bit in Pragmata. I've noticed it very much in the Capcom RE Engine stuff, like Resident Evil Requiem. It makes a very big difference when you're at, stop there for a second, when you're at different textures, different texture settings and graphical settings. Those make a huge difference, but resolution does not. It makes almost no difference. In terms of VRAM, it does make a performance difference, but the VRAM doesn't change. So once those textures are loaded in, it doesn't matter what resolution you display them at. So it's a little bit of a newer thing. I don't know if why some engines do that, whereas a lot of, traditionally, if you go from 1440p, 1600p, 4K down to 1200p, there's a big drop in VRAM usage, not in these engines. Right, like it stays static. It all comes down to what textures are you loading into the game. Right, so now we're at 4K, native 4K. This is gonna be way too hard to run. Again, the VRAM is unchanged. It might go up a little bit, but it's generally speaking unchanged. But let's try high, like just normal high. Like that. You can see the VRAM did go up, but it wasn't like staggering. So this is 4K high. A little too much. And again, watch this. 50, DLSS on, even performance. Like we're just going to crank it. It makes 2 frames. It makes no difference. So DLSS is just simply not working, even at 4K. Like, I don't know where it is. Somewhere in the driver, there's a bottleneck. It's either just actually does not work. This is not the first system that I've tested. So either it does not work in the game, it's completely broken, or it does something to the CPU and there's some type of CPU bottleneck it creates. I don't know. It just doesn't work right now, put it that way. So there's no point in using it. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything for performance. So high was a little much for 4K, just a tiny bit too much. I don't really know why I'm testing 4K, but it is what it is. That's a massive difference in performance. High and medium is monumentally different. I was getting 50, 53 on high, and medium is 80. Wow. I mean, Microsoft does a very good job with these Forza games. When Forza Horizon 5 came out, it was like shockingly efficient on so many different GPUs. Look at this. This is 4K medium, native. It's very playable. This is, I have a 4K screen. I don't have a 1440p. And you can easily play this game at 1440p, but it looks better at 4K. Like 4K medium looks better than 1440p high because it's just the native resolution of the screen. Okay, so we'll just rip down here and we'll close it out here. So clearly it works very well. 4070 is more than up to the task of playing this game at tons of different settings. Again, 8GB VRAM GPU. I've been talking about this for years and years and years, and nowadays it is nice to be vindicated. Like YouTubers and just generally people who know about this stuff. Even before I did YouTube, I was telling people it's not enough VRAM. You got to get more VRAM. NVIDIA doesn't put enough VRAM, and it was like noticeable, but it was like kind of edge cases. Now it's just like mainstream, straight up. It's 8GB is not enough VRAM. However, there is enough performance settings here and enough optimization here that you can play with your settings and get very, 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 very playable gameplay, as long as you are comfortable with playing with settings. So there you go. 4070. Boom. Very good.